they take advantage of people who just are in a bad place and runaways, and they don't deserve that.
New Orleans was supposed to be a place of escape for Davina Schrantz, escape from an abusive group home.
They choose to believe that these people care about them because, you know, you want to believe that it's easier to believe that than to come to the reality of what the situation is.
Instead, she says it led to her capture into sex slavery. Dee hitchhiked from Columbus to New Orleans with a group of runaways. She was the perfect target for her traffickers. Broken, alone, and desperate for a place to go.
Somebody said, oh, you shouldn't, you know, talk to them, but I just didn't listen because they seemed like normal people. I thought they're harmless. You know, they got me to drink and they had spiked my drink.
She says the couple then transported her from a bar in New Orleans to a trailer in Amite, Louisiana. They offered her clothes and perfume, jewelry, and shelter.
They started telling me stuff like, you know, we're going to take care of you now, and you think they're doing this for you, so that at first, you know, and you're not realizing that they're just setting you up for what they have planned for you.
Dee was now their property. She says they traveled again 130 miles south to the ports of Morgan City, this time to what she describes as a brothel. It was there she and a group of other girls were taken to the bar each night and forced to coax customers into a back room for sex. Her only compensation was staying alive.
You had no choice. You better do some performing or you're going to pay consequences.
That was 30 years ago. Today, it still feels real.
The rape the first time when I was 16, and just that was bad enough, but I always cry. I'm sorry, I can't. I never can. I never can go to that place and not remember, not think about the other girls, and, you know, to be raped over and over and over and over and over again. It's just one of the, you know, worst things that could ever happen to a person.
To us, this is abuse. To them, it's a business, one that brings in an estimated $40 billion each year. But it's also one of the most difficult crimes for the FBI to uncover, a task that Special Agent David Dawson takes on each day.
It's a crime that's hidden by the nature of the crime and by the nature of the victim. It's not something that's apparent on the surface. One of the biggest issues we face in human trafficking is our ability to find and locate the victims.
He says Dee's is a textbook example of a victim's story. Disoriented, vulnerable, and too trusting of a friendly stranger.
They're moved around so frequently. In some cases we find victims, they don't know the city that they're in. All they have that are the clothes on their back and the trafficker who's taking them city to city.
Are these traffickers someone I could just walk by on the street? Is it every John Doe that we see?
I'd like to tell you that every trafficker wore the dark eye patch on one eye and had the scar on their face on the other and was easily recognized as the evil one. But some you'll see in business suits, some you'll see working in crack houses on the street. There's no set demographic and there's no set stereotype for the trafficker.
I wonder how people didn't notice the brothel, the fence around it, and all those extra people. What do you think the community was doing that they couldn't react?
Even to this day, with it all being out, with movies being told about it and stuff, people are just blind to that. They just don't see.
Dee was determined to get out, but she was left alone to do it. Activist groups say the public has no idea how close these crimes are to home. North Carolina is 8th in the country for trafficking. The state's highway system is a crossroads. It's a central location on the East Coast and home to large minority populations, often targeted by traffickers.
This comes in Spanish and English. Yes.
We just thought that there were some very obvious things that people could report.
A group called Surreptimist, meaning best for women, is led by a doctor, a lawyer, and a psychologist, all working to increase awareness of human trafficking in central North Carolina. Patricia Witt is the brain behind the operation.
What I should say motivates me the most is that citizens can do something in their ordinary walk of life to improve the situation, and whatever we do is going to raise our standard of living.
Why North Carolina?
The focus in North Carolina is trying to get policies in place and legislation because we want to prosecute the criminals. But the other side of that is raising public awareness, and that's where we feel we can contribute the most.
Her group created these orange cards for first responders and community members. They list 11 signs to identify trafficking in local neighborhoods, such as unusual and irregular hours of entry and exit, number of residents exceeds occupancy standards, and living quarters with peculiar security, such as barbed wire and guarded compounds.
Just in your daily routines of going around, just observe.
It is estimated there are currently more than 12 million trafficking victims worldwide, including commercial sex and labor. Special Agent Dawson says it's impossible to know how many in the U.S. because it's underreported, well hidden, and difficult to prosecute.
When we talk about the profit, when we talk about the statistics, we're really talking about what we do know. But for all the victims that we've encountered and do know, there's many out there that we've never seen and haven't come in contact with yet.
What would you tell women my age who may run into the same sort of issue or be approached by a trafficker?
Don't talk to strange people. I mean, you're just ripe for the picking. They're looking.
The traffickers are willing to hang out at places that you might find the runaway. The train station, the bus station, the airport. They know where the runaways are and they're looking for them.
They can identify the potentials, the ones that are going to go along and the ones who aren't, within about 30 seconds, they say. They've honed this because it is a $32 billion business each year.
The motive of the trafficker is simple, it's profit. When you look at a drug trafficker, he has one product, the drug. Once he sells the drug is gone and he can make no more profit off that. When you look at the human trafficker, his product can be used again and again and again. It's a highly profitable business.
You're like a walking dollar sign to these people.
For 3 months, Dee was stuck. In what she describes as an act of desperation, she trusted one of her clients.
I had nothing to lose. I got up on the fence and he helped me over and into the pickup truck I went. And I said, maybe this was an angel who's driving a pickup truck. I would rather be dead than to be in that place being used by people like that.
Dee started a new life and a family in North Carolina. She kept her story quiet until 5 years ago when she started putting it on paper.
Opening old wounds isn't easy, but you wrote a book about all of this.
Yeah, when you start shining the light on darkness, it just can't stand it. And that's, what I like to do as an advocate is to come out and tell what's going on. It's empowering to say, I'm the victim. I'm the victim.
What about the other girls? What do they do if they don't have that strength like you did?
They live a very bad life. They live a very sad life.